Hello, this is going to be a quick update on the rocket engine lamp project. And last time I verified that I could take all these components and they'd fit inside the space. We have our two driver boards, we have the Cree LED emitter, we have a little fan to keep things cool, and a MOSFET to drive it. We have a 3.3 volt power converter, and then we have a ESP32 kind of in the raw module form. So I needed a way to put them in there and be able to wire things together and make things actually fit functionally and not short out and all that sort of thing. So I went back into Fusion with my design for this and essentially designed it apart inside. This was the first version, and you can see this was pretty bad. And I went through a bunch of concepts. So like this early version kind of has slots. So I started with the driver board. And you could, I think I did these, the first versions, so the slots had the driver parts facing out. So kind of like that, you can see, and the driver didn't really fit, and I worked my way through. It turned out that having the driver boards, well, I think these are in order. Having the driver boards face out really didn't work very well. Here we have two boards, but you notice how little space I have left in between, and I really didn't think I could fit things very well with that. So we moved on to different concepts. I have some concepts here where the driver boards move to one side, so they're kind of stacked. These are a pain to get in. They're kind of stacked like that. And then I have space here for other components. And I'm not going to go through the whole list here. I will note one change that I made. All these initial ones were done with a 3D model and then taking thin slices for the kind of holders here. And then I got to a certain point and I wanted to add different pieces. And I didn't want to model that, so then I started taking the slice and then modeling just on the slice later. So I went through a whole series, or probably 15 or 20, and then finally ended up with these two pieces, which I'm really pretty happy with. Basically what we have, we'll see if I can remember how these go together. So this is the main one, and this is the end. This is the one for the kind of top end. Oh, that wasn't something breaking. These are supposed to fit pretty tight, but not too tight. Yeah, that's not in the right slot. There we go. Maybe that's why I was having trouble. Okay, so we have the two boards there, and they are nicely fit so that I can actually run power through both. So they're kind of stacked that way. See if I can put the other end on to kind of hold them. Never goes as well when you try to do it on camera. Okay. So now you can see, kind of have the front, these two align kind of on top of each other, the power will come in here, and then the dimming signals will come in through there. So that was how to fit that in. Next thing I fit in was the ESP32 module, and you can see the antenna is really thin, so there's a thin slot here, and that just hops through here. And then I think I have it upside down. Yeah, that hops through here, and now you can see there's the thin slot kind of holds that well, and then I can push these back together. So what did I need next? Well, we needed this little 3 volt power supply, 3.5 volt power supply. And that's going to slide in this slot here and kind of fit underneath this little retainer I built. I just pulled this out and it was a pain to get out, so it may be a pain to get back in. Oh, nope, that wasn't bad. Okay, so now you can see we have this nice little stack. The little MOSFET, well, this is just really tiny. So I just built a tiny little notch here. And for most of these, I actually got out my calipers to measure so that I could be precise. That got me pretty close generally. So we can look at this and you call this the basic assembly. Kind of built the way I wanted it to. Trying to press it down so the all the bottom parts, the ESP and the two driver boards, are hooked together. And doing this was kind of, I actually think I have this ring backwards. One of the things I wanted to do was make this so that it could be wired and put together. And that means there's some access holes, like there's an access hole in here to get to essentially the ESP, ground, and 3 volt terminals, which are back on this side. All the other things that I'm going to wire, all the pins that I'm going to wire to control are going to come right off the front of the ESP and just out to the board and out to the MOSFET board. So you'll be able to pull the boards out of this if you want to. So that's what we have here, and notice we can now take that, and that fits very nicely in there, and doesn't take up too much space. And then I needed to do something with the emitter, and we went kind of through a similar iteration process. 4 little pieces there, and then I finally came up with this one. And it ends up that the emitter is just kind of a snap fit. And this might not be done yet. I might need a little more space to get it the way I wanted it. But the real reason I wanted this is that the emitter actually goes backwards, like that. And the real reason for this is going to sit in there, and this bottom rim will sit against, and then that will allow air to come and flow through the spaces between the emitter aluminum plate and the 3D printed. So that will go in. That with the aluminum up. I might put some more retaining in there. That will be wired directly to the outputs off the board, so it'll probably actually just kind of hang out there. Board goes in on top. The fan will be connected into that. I'm just going to pull it through now so you can see. And there it is. Actually all fits together. So that's where we're going to be now. We can look in the bottom. We can actually see the emitter, which is nice, and it's where we want it. So all I have to do next, I have to pull some wire. There needs to be wires for the single RGB LED. It goes out here. It looks like this. It's a little WS2812 on a single board, and that essentially goes here to light up the gas generator part. So these wires have to be fed back through this hollow one, and then there's a touch wire that attaches to a stud here, and it has to be fed back through. Need to do that, and I need to figure out how I'm going to clean up the top here where the power comes in, if I choose to. So 12 volt in there, and then we'll just wire everything together and hope that it works. So that's where we are right now. Thanks for your time.